Good morning, friends. Welcome to pre-market update. For the last 2 days, we have been seeing that Nifty and Sensex have been bouncing back smartly. The yesterday's rally was largely led by banking and auto shares. Even metal stocks were supportive to the market. As a result, the Sensex was up around 400 points or 1.7%, and it closed at 25,719 levels. In terms of major contributors to the rise were Hindalco, Vedanta, NTPC, Tata Steel, and Tata Motors. While the top losers in Sensex were Sun Pharma and GAIL, so they were negatively contributing to market. Nifty was also up sharply 130 points and it closed at 7818 levels. Now coming on to Asian cues, what we have seen that Asian markets are trading weak today. Nikkei is down almost 610 points, Hang Seng is down 463 points. Even if you are to see the US markets, they were also down. Major markets in US were down more than 1%. The Dow was down 239 points, S&P was down 27 points, and Nasdaq was down minus 55 points. Recently what we have seen a major development that Brazil's rating has been downgraded to jump, so this is negative for Brazil, and it is down more than 4% at this point in time. In terms of provisional figures, what FI have been doing, FIs have been continuously seller in cash market, and FIs have yesterday sold to the tune of minus 452 crores, while DS have been supportive to the market as usual, and they have invested to the tune of 1194 crores. SGX at this point in time is trading 92 points down, so this suggests that we might have a weak opening today. Now friends, let's have a derivative check.
Good morning, friends. We'll give an analysis on derivatives. In yesterday's market, we have seen in line with the positive cues from the international markets, our market also opened with the gap up of around 50-60 points, and also taking cues from the day before yesterday's trading session, where we have seen Nifty showing some kind of strength over there. And in yesterday's trading session also, we have seen Nifty opening up with a positive bias and the gap up opening, and has been in the continuous upside trend throughout the day, as market breadth also remained positive throughout the day, as majority of the sectors closed in the positive territory. While we see yesterday's bounce back was mainly to the short covering, as we see that Nifty have given a closing of around 1.5% higher at 7826.70. While if you see the open interest of Nifty, which has gone down by substantial of around 5%, that is around 11.5 lakh shares were added in open interest. And the cost of carry was also decreased significantly from around 30 odd points to currently just 9 odd points, indicating much of short covering was seen in yesterday's trading session. And also at higher levels, we have seen some kind of short accumulation by market participants especially in the last half an hour of trade, and due to which Nifty just managed to close 1% higher. On the open, the put call ratio was an interesting part. In yesterday's trade, despite of a sharp pullback in Nifty of around 1.5%, we have seen put call ratio dipping by around 1 basis point, which eventually was a negative sign in yesterday's trade, in the end of the yesterday's trade only, where we have gotten sign in the yesterday's trade only that Nifty might see some kind of resistance now at higher levels. The put call ratio did decrease by around 1 basis point to currently at 0.94. And volatility index have also decreased by only 1% to 24.30 levels. Now the options activity, we did saw an unwinding in 7,800 and 7,900 call option, which saw an unwinding of around 16% and 12% respectively, while 8,000 call option did see some kind of build-up, which was very minor of around 2%. However, in call option, 8,500 still remains as the highest in terms of open interest. But surprisingly, in 7,500 put option, we continue to see some kind of reduction. In last 3 to 4 trading session, we have seen a continuous reduction in 7,500 put option, and Nifty was inching on the higher side, and 7,500 is the highest in terms of open interest. And saying a reduction in this strike price is very much negative for market going forward. The 7,800 put option, which is the second highest in terms of open interest, had also seen reduction in yesterday's trade. So both these parameters eventually suggested in yesterday's trade only that we might see some kind of selling in the days to come, as the bounce back was mainly to the short covering. while 7,700 put option has seen some kind of addition of around 16 odd percentage. There are no securities in bank period for today's trade. FIs have seen covering some of the short positions, but not substantial amount. Only a few amount of, despite market going up by around 100 odd points in yesterday's trade. We have seen FIs being buyers of only 390 odd crores. While index options have net buyers of 765 odd crores, and stock futures we have seen significant amount of short covering in stock futures in yesterday's trade of around 1,000 crores. While stock options have net buyers of only 138 odd crores. 5 days we have stands at 7725 with a lower range at 7725 and higher range at 7900. Since we have seen a substantial bounce back was mainly due to short covering. Of course, we are opening up with a negative bias and also with a gap down opening of around 70-80 odd points. But still, we have been there above our VWAP levels. So in today's trading session, VWAP of 7725 would be very much crucial. In today's trade, we might see it holding, but in the days to come, that is in tomorrow's trade, we will see Nifty going below VWAP levels. So watch out for the VWAP of 7725 levels closely in today's trading session, and accordingly, market participants to can take positions accordingly. As suggested, X Nifty is bit negative at around 82 odd points, indicating some kind of gap down opening, and it's quoting at 7740. That's it from derivatives. Thank you.
Now friends, let's discuss trading ideas for the day. First trading idea for the day is L&T Limited. L&T plans to offer 15% stake in L&T Infotech to public via IPO. So this is positive development for L&T, as its value unlocking will help to L&T. Action to be taken is long L&T. Stop loss is placed at 1569 and will be targeting levels of 1620 and 1640. The next long idea for the day is MRPL Limited. MRPL is in talks with Colombia's Ecopetrol SA for long-term crude deal. Hopes to get first cargo by this November. Also, it plans to increase the refining capacity by 20% to 3.6 lakh tons barrel per day in 2019. So this both a positive development happening at MRPL. Action to be taken is long MRPL. Stop loss is placed at 51. We will be targeting levels of 54 and 56. Next long idea for the Dr. Reddy's, which is currently placed at 4041. Anthrax and Dr. Reddy's announcement to market Anthrax proprietary nutritional intervention for pediatric infectious diarrhea. Currently, this drug is used for diarrhea treatment. Estimated market size in India is around 800 to 2000 crores, and this market is growing by 13 to 15% annually. Apart from that, Dr. Reddy's also gets rights for marketing this drug in many Asian countries. So this is positive development for Dr. Reddy's. Action to be taken is long Dr. Reddy's. Stop loss is placed at 3998 levels. We will be targeting levels of 4090 and 4140. The next long idea for the day is JSW Steel. Current market price is 981. 20% provisional safeguard duty is proposed on flat steel products for 200 days. And JSW Steel has the largest share of flat products in its portfolio. Apart from JSW Steel, SR Steel and SAIL also stand to benefit because of these provisional safeguards. Action to be taken is long JSW Steel. Stop loss is placed at 969 levels. We will be targeting levels of 1000 and 1025. Now, short idea for the day is Vedanta Limited. S&P has placed Vedanta Resources ratings on watch with a negative implication. This is negative for Vedanta Limited. Action to be taken is short to Vedanta. Stop loss is placed at 103. We will be targeting levels of 95 and 90. Now, moving on to news update front, NTPC may start Damodar Valley Raghunath plant takeover in December. Commerce Ministry calls stakeholders meeting on SEZ today to discuss issues with respect to SEZ to boost investments and exports. Dumping and lack of free trade agreements incentives are hurting the textile industry. Yesterday when Tamil Nadu summit was there, wherein many companies have planned for investment to the tune of 30,000 crores. Adani, HCL, MRF, ITC and others have committed investments approximately of 30,000 crores. Hero Motor commences operations at facility in Colombia and launches a new bike. No extended monsoon session to pass GST bill. Hindalco set to refinance around 14,000 crores of loan. Aditya Birla Money likely to get 120 crores of loan from International Finance Corporation. On sugar front, drought in Maharashtra sugar belt plus media reports of higher sugar exports following a plan of barter sugar export for import of pulses or edible oil. So this is positive for companies which have in US export operations of like Balrampur and Dampur. means these companies can export sugar, and in return they will be they can get pulses and edible oils from US. So this is a barter exchange. So this is beneficial for these two companies. Nestle sets out plan for Maggi Compact. Cabinet has approved yesterday National Offshore Wind Energy Policy to enhance focus on wind generation. It was positive for companies like Inox Wind and Suzlon. List of tax exemptions to be phased out in few days as per Finance Ministry. Amtech Auto is in talk to secure fresh loans for bond repayments. S&P downgrades Brazil to jump, outlook is negative. GAIL joint venture in pact to develop natural gas network in Rajasthan. Wockhardt gets US FDA for memantine hydrochloride tablets. IDFC will launch new bank and banking operations set to begin from October 1st. Amtech Auto subsidiary Castrec Technologies faces several probe for alleged share price rise. BPCL plans to invest approximately plans to increase the capacity to 7.8 million tons at a cost of 3,000 crores. Reliance Defence is tied with UAE-based ADSB to build naval ships. L&T eyes 3,000 crore of contract from Sri Lanka. Sun Pharma is looking to divest its manufacturing plant in Ireland and it tries to control costs that have spiraled since it has bought Ranbaxy Laboratories. Now friends, we'll be moving on to stocks with positive and negative bias. Stocks with positive bias are Indian Overseas Bank, Punjab National Bank and TVS Motors. Stocks with negative bias are Strides Arcola, Just Dial and Divi's Lab. Stocks for investment which can be suggested to long-term investors. Aditya Birla Nova at 1984, Britannia Industries at 2880, HDFC Bank at 1016, TCS at 2550 and Ultratech at 2985. Now friends, that's all from Advisory Desk. Have a wonderful day ahead.